was circumventing the Conflict of Interest Act. Do you not see a problem with that scenario?
So the Conflict of Interest Act applies to people who are actually in office. So if that was an actual office that was paid for by the Crown, I think we'd be talking about
it would
something
apply
very
to
different.
an aide to the Prime Minister. It would apply to a ministerial aide. It would apply to a
They're
ministerial advisor. Mark Carney was effectively
employees.
in that role, but yet he was able to avoid the Conflict of Interest Act. Hence the need for some sort of mechanism to address it, in my view.
Okay, so the Act applies to public office holders, and it applies, the various codes apply to the individuals who are governed by the code.
The whole point, and the whole point is to address those who are taking advantage of a loophole. Here you have the CEO of a $1 trillion investment firm advising the Prime Minister, someone who has all sorts of conflicts of interest, and yet was able to get around the Act. Yet, had he been in the PMO doing exactly the same thing that he was doing outside of the PMO, he would have been subject to the Act.
So I'll say two things in reply. The first thing I'll say is you're quite right to make these concerns known if you think that they are important to you and your constituents. I think that things that happened in September 2024 had a pretty good litmus test subsequent to that. So you say that this was something that was common knowledge and everybody knew it. Well, if it was common knowledge and everybody knew it, I guess that factored into some decisions that people made at a later date. The second thing that I would say is there's a difference between going around something and having it not apply to you at all. And I think that it would not be a good idea to have an act apply to people who are not in the public service. Okay, so you may call it a circumvention, but the threshold is whether or not they are in the public service. Now, I am not privileged to any information that may have been shared between the two individuals that you mentioned, but certainly there are other people in that office.
10 seconds, Mr.
Yeah, other people in that office who understood what those arrangements were. I go back to the comment made by Mr. Theriault. It's about what the moral compass for those individuals is.
Thank you.